What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to NFL Turf Talk. This is your Week 11 recap show, your Week 12 early preview with the Texans and the Bills kicking off Week 12 tonight. We're going to get into that game. We're going to get into our top 10 power rankings, bounce around those power rankings, and look at what took place in the Week 11 slate, what stuck out, and what we can take moving forward as these playoff standings, these division races start to tighten, man, as we hit the holiday season. I'm one half of your host, Dylan Davis. To my left, my faithful co-host, Scotty. As always, guys, we are live here on the DSM Twitter channel as well as the DSM Turf Talk YouTube channel. So make sure to follow us on Twitter at DSM_media is where you can find us. And then make sure to check out the link tree in our bio. It'll take you to every platform we're on. All of our YouTube links are in there. But if you want to be interactive for football talk only, this is the spot. Make sure to follow and subscribe to the YouTube channel. My man, happy Thursday. We actually seemingly should, knock on wood, I know Davis Mills is starting a game tonight. We should have a pretty good Thursday night football matchup. Hope I don't jinx us here and get ahead of myself. But it's been better than the past couple of weeks. So what's going on? And excited to get into it.
Yeah, no, excited to get into it with you. I think, tonight is definitely a better game than what we've had of late. The Patriots, I mean, it was okay, right? Yeah, the Trayvon Henderson 3-tutty game, but it was against the Jets. Justin Fields cannot throw, so that wasn't the greatest matchup. And then, of course, we can go back through the list, but this should be a good game. We're both leaning one way. There's one way it turns out horrible, though, and that's the Texans defense locking everything up tonight. So I'm kind of hoping it's not that. I'm hoping that the Bills' top-ranking offense can shine through tonight and give us some entertainment. But, man, interesting to see where the power rankings go. We had some big wins, big losses on opposite ends, and it definitely, moves some things around. But at the same time, some things are staying consistent at this point. So it is interesting to see these things kind of iron out as the season goes on.
Yeah, it's a jam-packed top 10 that we've put together right now, and I think most people would agree. And record-wise, obviously, there's not going to be any surprises, right? There's not going to be a team we have slotted at 10 or 9 where people are scratching their heads going, what are you talking about? All these teams are at minimum 6-win teams, 6-4, and then obviously you have much better at the top of this list. But Week 11 was huge, man, in terms of kind of ironing this out and getting some separations from the top dogs down to those teams that are kind of in the middle of the pack here in the 10, because there was a lot of top 10 matchups, right? You go back to it. Obviously, we talked about it heavy on the Faithful Fanatic show, but you had the Lions and the Eagles on Sunday Night Football, which was a huge top 10 battle. The Bills obviously come away with a win. They play the Bucks, who are now 6-4. They were 6-3 at that point in time. The Bears get a big win over the Vikings. The Seahawks and the Rams battled it out. The Broncos get a humongous win against the Chiefs to put them to 5-5. Spoiler alert, the Chiefs, are not in our top 10. I don't know if they're in anybody's top 10, but I wouldn't be surprised if some people are holding out hope, man. Obviously, the Chiefs aren't involved in our top 10, but let me start there with you, because I think this was a talking point of ours last week. So we can start with number one. Number one, yes, we are Eagles fans. I can make the argument, a deafening argument, that the Eagles deserve to be number one, but we're not going to do that here. Why? Because the Broncos continue to win football games. They beat Philly head-to-head in comeback fashion at the Link a few weeks ago, and this was a big win to stack up on their resume. They're now 9-2. They're undefeated at home. We'll get to Denver in a minute, because I do want to give them all the praise in the world, because this was a gritty win for them. But the Chiefs, man, 5-5 on the year, 1-4 away from home. Pop up this schedule here. You have Indy at Dallas, the Texans, the Chargers, and the Broncos. Again, the only 2 games I will sit here and just definitively give you are the Raiders and the Titans, and they're both on the road, in which you only have 1 win this season, but I won't be that naive to not give it to you.
Yeah.
But I bring this up to start with KC, because I believe a week or 2 ago, I sat across from you here. Well, not technically across. We're in different states at the moment, but you get my point. I sat here and told you that the Chiefs are going to be just fine, and I would keep them at the top of my playoff list in the AFC. Yeah. And my question to you, Scotty, is on a scale 1 to 100, like 100 being 100% they're getting in, 0 chance is 0. Chiefs to even make the postseason at this point. Where are you concern level with Kansas City?
You take a look at the AFC playoff picture right now. So right now, the Kansas City Chiefs
I mean, you
have
can kiss the division goodbye.
absolutely, yeah. Denver's going to run away with that. Even the Chargers have a better record than them right now. The Texans are above them. I'm guessing that's through tiebreakers. Jacksonville above them. Chargers above them. Bills above them. Steelers above them. Colts above them. Patriots, obviously, and Broncos. Man, what just stuck out to me as I'm looking at this is there's a team right below them that has a much better chance than what they do at making the postseason. That's the Baltimore Ravens. They got the same exact record. Obviously, the Chiefs have that. They have that tiebreaker, right? Am I remembering that correctly? They did beat Baltimore.
The Chiefs beat the shit out of the
Chiefs.
Ravens.
Yeah, the Chiefs beat Baltimore. So they do have that going in their favor, but they come out of this game against the Broncos. The Broncos didn't play this like otherworldly type of performance to get this W. Patrick Mahomes obviously, struggled a little bit against that Denver defense. But you look at the next team on the schedule, the Colts, for example. Why shouldn't the Colts beat the Chiefs at this point?
That's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm
at this point. So at the same time, I understand Mahomes, this Chiefs team, they can go and they can beat this Colts team. It is Daniel Jones at the end of the day, but Jonathan Taylor and just like firepower in general. And I haven't said this a lot about the Colts when you talk and relate them to other teams, but compared to the Chiefs and what the Chiefs are now, and I've talked about that backfield, man. They have Kareem Hunt. You're running Kareem Hunt out there, like that's a fucking problem. Like Isaiah Pacheco is not what he was in his rookie or second year, right? Travis Kelce, sure, he still can produce, but he's not that number one option. Rasheed Rice came back and been good. But overall, man, you look at the talent, and I look over at the Colts, I'm like, well, Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren, like they do have like some guys that are at their peaks right now, and they're just playing better football right now. So, and you could say that a lot of teams around the league compared to the Chiefs, which is just crazy to me at this point.
No, and that's a big statement coming from you because you and I have been in the same boat when it comes to Daniel Jones and the Colts. Like we are not the Colts are the best team in football. The Colts are a top 2 team in football. I truly still believe at the end of the day, like in my heart of hearts, I would like to think that if it was January in the divisional round, would I really take Daniel Jones against Patrick Mahomes? But that's not what this is. Right. At what point, like, they deserve all the grace in the world, right? Like when you have the small dynasty that they've kind of put together over the last X amount of years since Mahomes and Andy Reid have teamed up, you deserve that leadway, right? Like you deserve that respect that they can flip it around at any time. Yeah. Well, what do they got to be, man? Do they got to be 6-6? Do they got to be 7-7? With 2 games left to play with 3 games left to play before people start to kind of realize this isn't going to be the same as previous years with Kansas City, because that's kind of where I'm at. I gave them that runway up until last week. You had that opportunity in Mile High to go work your way back, not only in this division, but the Chiefs are going to start chiefing, right? Mahomes going to start doing Mahomes things. Yeah. You know what I watched Patrick Mahomes do in a 3-point loss? Do you know what I watched him do? Throw a pick 6 that gets called back for a ridiculous penalty, continue the drive down the field, and then throw one of the worst interceptions in the red zone I've seen this year from any quarterback, let alone Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. In a 3-point loss, he made that mistake, should have been 2 mistakes on the same drive. Bo Nix, meanwhile, threw for 295. No turnovers. He didn't throw a touchdown, no turnovers. Yeah. But Patrick makes the critical mistake. Yeah. And that's what he's been doing. Jacksonville, one of the teams that has a tiebreaker over him that's ahead of him, throws a pick 6 at the 1-yard line, loses that game on Monday Night Football. This isn't the same, man. So I am off of that Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs fine wagon type of deal. Like I saw a TikTok the other day running through, they're still going to win. They're still going to make the playoffs. Well, how do you figure? What's their record going to be? They ran through the schedule. Dude's got the Chiefs winning out. Like, I get it. Like, week to week, would you like to believe they could win any game? Sure, you could.
Absolutely,
But in
yeah.
a 5-5 with a 5-5 record, what feeling do you have that
Right.
they're just going to run the table now?
And all season, man, they've done this thing where they'll win, 2 games. I think they've even had a 3-game win streak at one point after they beat the Lions. They'll have these little streaks in here, 2-3 games at a time, and then they'll have a setback. Right? They started the season with 2 losses, but they went on to win 2 in a row after those 2 losses. Then you have the setback against the Jags. Then you go on to win 3. Then you have the setback against the Bills where you can make a statement. This was like a double setback, right? Like you had the Bills loss the week before. Now you play the Broncos. Maybe they had a bye week in between there. Maybe I'm getting that mixed up. Nonetheless, you come out, you lose this game to the Broncos nonetheless. And, they could go out, they could beat the Colts next week. They could go on the road. They could beat the Cowboys. Then they'll fuck around. They'll lose to the Houston Texans.
That's Thanksgiving as well.
You just, it's just, yeah, the Cowboys game is on Thanksgiving, which that will be a good game. I'm excited for that one, actually. That's a great Thanksgiving game, actually, from just my thought on history. But, I don't know, man. They've shown us who they are kind of so far this season.
I agree. Now let me ask you.
It would take somebody else completely flunking out for them to make it.
It might take two. It might take 2 teams to completely, 2 or 3 completely start to flunk out at this point. But on the flip side, man, because we just spent a decent amount of time kind of talking about, it's the Chiefs' fault, it's the Chiefs' fault, and it is. But Denver also gets a ton of credit and a lot of respect from this one as well, because I kept pointing out the resume. Don't get me wrong, a little salty as an Eagles fan that we were on that resume, but outside of us over that 6 or 7 game win streak, they beat and played nobody, and they weren't playing inspiring football. And I know that's funny coming from an Eagles offense, but it didn't look all that great. It didn't look great in this one. Last second field goal to put it away, right? But this was a humongous win because it started to change the tide. Like we just mentioned with the Chiefs had this reign over the AFC West and over the AFC as a whole. And it started in Brazil against the Chargers. Oh, could it be the Chargers year to dethrone the Chiefs? And don't get me wrong, they still look decent. They got dog walked last week. But Denver, man, 9-2, undefeated at home. Where are you at with Denver? Now, I'm not saying that this one alone just takes them to the top of the AFC and you're fully in on them. But yeah, like I mentioned, undefeated at home. If the AFC has to go through Mile High, so that defense gets healthier, J.K. Dobbins comes back for the playoffs, and you have him and RJ. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Denver? Are they still kind of in that Indianapolis territory for you where you give the respect, but you're not fully bought into them being playoff contenders, like championship contenders? Or do they have a little bit more of a runway here?
I think they have a little bit more of a runway than, say, the Colts or even the Patriots, man. The Patriots they're getting close. We'll obviously talk about them a little bit as well, but the Broncos are the team in the AFC from what it looks like right now. Now, things can change as the season goes on. We see the Ravens coming. They're getting hot, right? There's different teams mixed in here that can prove themselves. Buffalo's gotten 2 pretty big wins in a row after, dropping a game or 2. But the Broncos just look like that team to beat, man. And I hate to say it, but they resemble the Eagles a lot to me. And, they don't have, the names on offense yet, right? Maybe they don't turn into those names of that level, right? But they have the mobile quarterback. They have the ground game that's pretty reliable. Bo Nix, he is the wild card, though. He is, because he can play like a top 10 quarterback at times. He can play like a bottom 10 quarterback at times. But what I liked in that game against Kansas City, he didn't turn the ball over. And that's where I'm thinking about the way the Eagles have been playing and the defensive notion and relying on the defense when you have to, right? And the Broncos have that capability. They can rely on that defense. That defense is elite, arguably the best defense in the NFL right now. So they kind of have that going for them where, if Bo Nix just doesn't turn the ball over, especially at Mile High, it's going to be really fucking hard to beat the Denver Broncos. So
Yeah.
that's the territory they're getting to for me. I do think at the end of the day, you could have a Bo Nix bad game, and that could get them knocked out of the playoffs
Sure.
against
Sure.
almost anybody. But if you can get him to hone it in, don't turn the ball over, don't make those erratic decisions to throw the ball down the field. Play turnover-free football. They're
No,
dangerous, man. And it's weird to say it, honestly. I did not see this coming.
no, me neither. And the run that they're on as well, because this is what now a 7-game win streak for them at this
I
point.
think so. Yeah. And they're
Same
going
thing
into
with
a
New
bye
England,
week.
like you had mentioned. You know what I really want to see in the postseason? I want to see these teams that were not fully bought into get their shot at the previous favorites. Like
Yeah. The
Buffalo,
Allens.
I want
Yeah.
Buffalo to play Denver or Indianapolis. I want the Ravens or the Chiefs to make it and play Denver or New England, whatever, because I don't want like Denver, New England, like good game, but then one of them knocks each other out. And then the other, like, I want to see if we're right or and there is a changing, or we're right and there isn't really a changing of the guard. And,
Right.
you know, when push comes to shove, oh, Bo Nix, Daniel Jones, like cute seasons. This is when the big guys show up. Or if it's more of just an overall team game and team sport nowadays, man, where, yeah, like you might have the Peyton Manning, you might have the Drew Brees, but that doesn't matter anymore. So I'm interested to see how it starts to play out. But yeah, Denver, all the credit in the world. They come in at number 1 on our power rankings. Kansas City, obviously not in. I'm sitting there at 5-5. Coming in at number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles. They're now 8-2. 4-1 at home. That one obviously being to the Broncos. They played the number 10 Lions. Obviously, Detroit was a little higher heading into week 11. They dropped down to 10. They're still a 6-win team. You know, when you look around those bubble teams that we have, like the Jags, like the Bucks, like the Chargers, I would say that the Lions are probably the most dangerous, or probably the best. I would argue, of those 6-4 kind of teams. But the Eagles, we talked about this one already. I'm not going to dive too much into it. Big game. Let me ask you from the other perspective, as the Lions sitting at number 10.
Yeah.
What did it make you think of the Lions? Because obviously the Eagles may have the best defense in football. It was a windy night, but like Dan Campbell takes over play calling, and a week and a half, 2 weeks into it, his offense kicks 3 field goals, missed the extra point or whatever, went for 2, whatever they did there. But come away with 9 points. Jared Goff looks like an absolute shell of himself.
Yeah.
What do you make of the Lions' performance?
It's tough with the Lions, man. It really is. I won't say that game like changed my holistic perception of the Lions. At the end of the day, that is what Jared Goff is going to look like when he's getting pressured all night. Like, he has shown that throughout his career. He will turn into that guy that we saw on Sunday night when he is facing a good defensive line and unable to run the football, right? But not every defense is going to be able to do that. Not every playoff team's defense is going to be able to do what the Eagles did to them on Sunday night. So I do give a little bit of grace for that performance, but my problem is I go back and I start to look at their schedule. You know, I was kind of telling myself, like, they've lost to the Eagles, or, they lost to the Packers at the beginning of the season. Like, these are playoff teams in the NFC. Those aren't horrible losses. But then you see the loss to the Chiefs, 30-17, like double-digit loss to the Chiefs this season. Like, that's not acceptable this year for good teams.
Right.
So the other one was the Vikings loss, which I can't remember. Was J.J. McCarthy quarterback in that game?
Yes.
He was, yeah. And
I believe that was his first game. Was that his first game back?
First game back, yeah. First game back. And that makes that loss worse. They have wins, a blowout win against the Bucks. They blew out, who'd they score 52 against? The Bears, who's in our top 10, right?
Top 10, so yeah, sure.
So I do give them a little bit of grace, just because you know what that offense can do when Jared Goff is getting time.
Back in week 1.
Yeah, so 10,
yeah. They've lost to a lot of good teams. They've had opportunities to kind of pad that resume and beat other playoff contending teams, a la the Eagles. And they have failed to do so far. And when your offense and Jared Goff looks like that,
can I ask you something?
What the defense is, it's a little worrisome. But yeah,
1 out of 10 Lions making the playoffs. And let me read you their schedule.
Let me pull you. Yeah, read me the schedule while I pull up the
We got
NFC
the
standings.
Giants next. Sure, W, right? Like we assume they'll score 30 plus on the Giants. You got the
Long receiver.
Packers at home. You got the Cowboys at home. You go on the road against the Rams. Steelers at home. On the road against the Vikings. On the road against Chicago.
Okay.
They're 6-4.
You need Chicago to flail out.
Right.
You need Chicago to bail out to where either you or the Packers win the division and the other team gets one of the wild card spots. Chicago keeps winning games.
Yeah.
You are in the danger zone. Because that's like I'm looking at a San Fran team sitting in the 7 spot, the last wild card. And one of the things that I had said to you before the year where I mentioned San Fran being a playoff team was that schedule. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a couple games on here. Honestly, the back end isn't looking too promising. But if you're San Fran, you get Carolina, who's playing well, but it's in San Francisco on Monday night. I would give that one to San Fran. Then you get the Browns. Then you get the Titans at home. But then you finish up with at Indy, the Bears, the Seahawks.
Yeah.
So the Niners, even though that schedule to start the year was one of the easier ones, it is a little difficult. So you need the Niners to absolutely not shit the bed, but you need them to lose at least 3 of those games. Or you need the Bears to kind of, I don't want to say come back down to earth, but, stop. They're a 7-3 football team. They're a good football team right now. So that's kind of lines are out. But yeah, so on a scale of 1 to 10, like 10 being worried, 0 being nothing, or 1 being nothing, I would say it's a 6 for the Lions not making it. Like I think it's about 50% that they don't make it right now.
Yeah, which is crazy, but I guess that's what happens when you don't beat the playoff teams on your schedule, right? That's the curse of ultimately winning your division.
Who is the clear number 2 in the NFC? Well, that's our number 3 team in our power rankings. That is the Los Angeles Rams. They're playing excellent football, man. And to, this back question that he mentions, who's more likely to shit the bed, the Seahawks or the Niners? I would still say the Niners because of overall talent, or lack thereof, and Brock Purdy and et cetera. But the Seahawks had an opportunity to come away with a win this past week, and they failed to do so in LA. Now, don't get me wrong, 21-19. It's not like they got their shit kicked in or anything like that, but they started in a hole 14-3. Sam Darnold throws 4 picks, brother. Like the
red flag.
Right. Like back to where we were at the end of last year. Like, oh, great regular season, bigger game comes
up. That's a red flag.
Oops, pants. So yeah.
What's a bigger red flag? 4 interceptions from Sam Darnold, or the Rams only scoring 21 points off the 4 interceptions?
So, I mean, I'll still go with the 4 picks. Like, obviously, that's the thing that just cannot happen in that circumstance. But to your point, man, like you mentioned, like the style of like that Seahawks defense is a solid unit. You were talking the other day about the Eagles defense playing against Stafford, who's not a mobile guy anymore. And I mean, 4 picks. I don't even know if Seattle put the ball on the ground or anything like that. Also, 21 points. It is what we call not ideal, Scotty. So.
But a win is a win, to be fair to the Rams, right? Finding different ways to win. It's okay when the Rams win and it's, defensive oriented. So, hey, I'm cool with the Rams winning that way. Finding different ways to win. That's an in-division rival. Scared of the Rams? That's not the right word.
No, I won't say that I'm scared of anybody.
The thing that the Rams have going for them against the Eagles that I'll throw out there is just the fact that they've lost how many in a row? Like 3 or 4?
Right. So like Sean McVay has never beaten Nick Sirianni since 2021.
Quote unquote due to win against the Eagles.
That's right. They're playing great football, and they technically are due to beat the Eagles with everything that has been taking place. But to Martian's point, the other side of it is there's no physical evidence you can give me head to head.
Right.
I mean, how many times do we have to line that shit up before you finally get the fucking hint that you're not beating me? So. I'm not scared of anybody, let alone the Rams. But
is there anybody close to the Rams, or the Seahawks that team for you?
Like Eagles, Rams, bang.
Yeah, I know on our rankings they are technically, but
yes, I will say yes because I'll look around. Like, okay, you can give me the Sam Darnold argument. Big games. poops his pants. But around the rest of the NFC, what am I looking at? I'm looking at Jordan Love, turns the football over in big spots. Jared Goff, look what he just did against the Eagles. Are in a big game. Caleb Williams and the Bears, 7-3. So
we're gonna talk about
I
them.
I would say that. I would say Seattle.
Yeah, I feel that. I really do. Because the Bucks, they're a little too beat up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the rest of these teams are just unreliable for the most part. Yeah, the Cowboys. Oh God.
Dude, what happened to our Cowboys viewer that was in here a couple weeks ago? We didn't know ball, Scotty. That's what he said. But I mean, I'm surprised that he's not in here because they did just beat the Raiders. So
they got a W. Hey, you're back in the W column.
Big matchup. But yeah, Rams coming at number 3. And the Seattle Seahawks slide in at number 6 for us. I think that's pretty fair. Like, I don't take too much away from what Seattle's rankings because they lost by 2 to the Rams. That's all I can really say about it. The big red flag is Sam Darnold has to start to produce against these bigger names in the bigger games.
The green check mark for the Seahawks is that their defense can keep them in a game like that where he's just a turnover machine. I did want to go back to Martian's comment here because I think this is funny, right? Like, because how many Eagles fans would trade Sirianni in a heartbeat for McVay in that offense?
Bro, when he says going back to the Wentz days, I don't think McVay ever beat Doug.
Right?
I don't know that Sean McVay has beaten the Eagles. Maybe once. Right. Maybe I'm forgetting a matchup. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just putting things in perspective, right? Yeah. You know, with what our offense is looking like and what people are saying. But no, the Rams right there, obviously, and then the Seahawks. I do agree with you. They didn't drop down for me, though.
No.
Sam, let me put it this way. They were like never getting up into the top 3, 4 in the first place because Sam Darnold does exist. Right. That doesn't change at 6. So
no, I do agree with you.
They're a solid team, though. They're good.
At number 4, we do have New England. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. Yeah. I'll kind of throw it to you. They beat the Jets 27-14. They're also on a 7-game win streak at this point, which is pretty phenomenal. Drake May doesn't know what first take is, and I give him respect for that.
That's wild.
I mean, that's what he says, obviously, but
yeah.
But your preseason sweethearts, man. The New England Patriots are settling themselves into a nice playoff spot right now. What do you make of this? Of obviously this past win and them at number 4?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely wild. I think at this point, though, we do have to respect what they've been able to do. They're gonna have one of the easier schedules, being where they finished last year in their division. So we will still continue to have to, gauge this team once they play the big dogs and continue to play the big dogs in the league.
Yeah.
But for the time being, they win games, and that's what matters. Drake May is playing some really good football, and they're getting some efforts from some skill guys that I guess I just wasn't expecting. I didn't think Stephon Diggs had any juice left, man. But he's out there, going for what, 9 grabs and over 100 yards on that Thursday night.
Yes.
Yeah, 9 grabs, 105 receiving yards on that Thursday night football game. Drake May just continues to play excellent football. And now with the Ramondre Stevenson injury, you get the full workload for Travion Henderson.
I did see that he's questionable now for this upcoming week. So we'll
Ain't
see
that funny?
what Vrabel decides to do.
Yeah, we'll see if they push the rookie, but he is talented, and they just find efforts from whoever really. They go across the board. Mac Hollins has had some games, so I don't know how far they can get to some points that we've discussed in previous shows. But
let me ask you this: how close is Drake May into reeling in the MVP? Because you had Baker making his case earlier on in the year. They're 6-4 now, and obviously it's still a good record or whatever. But Baker isn't the same as the first 5-6 week Baker. Mahomes was in that conversation, 5-5, can't have him in there.
Right.
Correct me if I'm forgetting anyone. Jonathan Taylor, people can put in the conversation. I'm keeping this quarterbacks right now.
because that's what it
Drake
is.
May
Yeah.
and Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford was the other
Is
guy
that
I
it?
was going to name, but if you put the resumes next to each other, I'm not trying to disrespect Staff. It's just more impressive from Drake May and who
Right.
he's playing with, right? Like you got Stafford over here with Kyron
Correct.
Williams, Puka, Devontae Adams. Like those are Hall of Fame level wide receivers. He's playing with more talent than what Drake May is, so I would go with Drake May. 2 weeks, you got the Bills. The next Bills matchup. It's in New England. It's in Foxborough. Win that game, man, and who knows? That could lock up the division and potentially the MVP for him. So.
No, I agree, bro. It's going to be an interesting race, and I would like to see it, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I would like to, in a weird way, even though we're going to be clashing with the Rams, I would like to see it for Stafford because I do love Matthew Stafford, when he's not playing us. So to have another accolade at this age, before the season, you and I were talking about the back and can you just knock him on his ass and injure? I mean, if he comes out and wins an MVP at this stage of his career, that's pretty goddamn impressive. But when you are throwing to Puka and Devontae and you have Kyron and you have Sean McVay versus what Drake May is doing in his second year, yeah, I would give the award to Drake as well. But number 5, we do have the Indianapolis Colts. They are, I believe, coming off of a bye. Yes,
Correct.
They are coming off of a bye last week. The week prior to that, I believe, was the overseas morning game that they beat Atlanta in overtime. So let me ask you this, man. Obviously, a bye week, we can't really knock them too much. We can't say much about them. They are still 8-2. Nah, I won't say it. I was gonna say, is it kind of a Daniel Jones coming back down to earth type of thing? But it's hard to argue with 8-2. It's basically the same thing as the Broncos, the Patriots, us. So who am I to kind of shit on them?
They were on the brink of it, right? In that Berlin game against the Falcons a couple weeks ago. They were on the brink of it. They made it to
and that's
overtime.
after losing to Pittsburgh.
Exactly. So that was a huge win. It was a huge win. You have to capitalize and continue to win off of it. This is a big spot this week against the Chiefs where you need to win that game. Like that's a must win for the Indianapolis Colts just to prove they are who they have shown that to be so far this season. So yeah, I think they have proven they've kind of proven themselves. I'm still, at the end of the day, skeptical of Daniel Jones, but in the AFC, who is playing better outside of Josh Allen right now? So in Drake May, right?
And let me ask you this:
talent levels matching up, right?
And let me ask you this: like, how much longer can we remain skeptical of Daniel Jones, even though he's giving us evidence that he's producing, but not remain skeptical of guys like Sam Darnold, Bo Nix, who's very young in his career? Like, you know what I mean? Like Daniel Jones, what he's showing this year is just equally like as important as what those guys continue to do. So, yeah.
No, I think that's fair, man. I really do. We'll see what the Colts got this week. I think that's a big one for me. But yeah, I know Martian. It's causing some issues.
You're delayed. Yeah, you're delayed on my end, but we'll run through these and get out of here in a minute. Anyway, we're gonna keep this episode short. So
let me leave and just come back, see if it works. It shouldn't take but a minute. But go ahead, keep going. I have it listening on my other device.
But just to kind of round out the little bit we have left, because we did skip to the Lions coming in at number 10. We have the Bills at 7, the Bears at 8, and the Packers at 9. Duck down with this. The Bills obviously coming off of a big win against Tampa Bay, dropping 44 points. It's just they have that bad loss against Miami stuck in the back of my mind. Like they had their Super Bowl against the Chiefs, 3 weeks ago? And then you had the Dolphins game after that, and then you bounce back with this game. So don't get me wrong. Like all in all, you beat Kansas City and Tampa Bay in 2 out of 3 weeks, and you're 7-3, and Josh Allen continues to play the way he does. It's very impressive. But I just can't stop thinking of that Dolphins letdown spot. How are we feeling?
Yeah, everything looks good on my end. I'm not sure if it's still echo. Let's just get through it.
You're good. But no, like I said, Bills at 7, Bears at 8, Packers at 9. Martian asked this kind of where we can wrap up. Packers still a contender. Feels like they lose big games. I do agree with you. let me ask you, do you have more trust in the Bears or the Packers right now? The hard-hitting questions.
It's hard, man. I don't want to disrespect the Bears, right? And I'm trying to appreciate what they've been able to do, but it's just the Packers defense is screaming at me, and it's screaming trust that defense that we have seen in playoff scenarios. They've added a Micah Parsons. The pass rush is legit. So yeah, I lean Packers defense. The lack of health on offense is a concern, though, and obviously they lack talent on the outside, in my opinion, from the jump. You lose Tucker Kraft, Josh Jacobs
Agreed.
beat up now.
You know how I feel. Yeah, no, I do agree with you. You know how I feel about the Packers wide receiver help and the help on the outside. Look, if Josh Jacobs can stay healthy and Jordan Love doesn't turn the ball over, that's the recipe, right? Run the football, play good defense, and try to make the plays when you do. I don't trust Jordan Love to do that, but at the same time, to Martian's point, I just don't trust the Bears. So I still will take the defense, the experience, and like the stardom of a Micah Parsons and Josh Jacobs over anything the Bears can kind of throw my way right now. But hey, I wouldn't be disappointed if I was wrong.
HP says the Bears. Interesting. Caleb's playing some good ball this year. That's what I mean. Like trying to be fair, acknowledge what they've done, but their schedule, I don't know. How we feel about this game tonight, man? Bills, Texans. Texans playing a little bit better.
I almost completely forgot about it.
Davis Mills. Is Davis Mills better than CJ Stroud?
Mills somehow. Joe Mixon news came out today that he's just not going to play this season. So glad that I stashed him on the IR in my fantasy league because the report was 4 weeks on the pup and then just not going to play. So their run game just is going to stay what it is. What they got? Nick Chubb and Woody Marks down there. So we'll see what they can do. Like you texted me it earlier. I do kind of like it. I like the over, especially if you alt it to 43 on the dot. I just think the Bills, the way that Josh is playing, the way this offense is playing, I know the Texans defense is what leads them. I know I believe the game's in Houston, correct? So that's also a leg up for their defense. I just don't see them like shutting down Josh Allen and this Bills offense to under 20. And at the same time, like you mentioned, look, is Davis Mills better than CJ Stroud? No. Like anyone that thinks that, like, just stop. And I'm not a CJ Stroud guy myself. But it does have a little bit of juice the last couple of weeks. Houston's offense does, and Buffalo's defense hasn't really stopped anybody. I mean, they played a good game against the Chiefs where they gave up 21, but like they do have holes in that defense as well. It's in Houston. So maybe if Houston's offense can do just enough, if they can score around 17 to 20, I think this game will definitely go over, and I think the Bills will push it over.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. I think, when you have the number 2 offense play the number 1 defense, I think offense does prevail in those situations. But you do have those stinkers in the past couple of weeks against the Dolphins. They scored 13, the Bills, that is, scored 14 against the Falcons. So they do have the capability to stink it up. I just wanted to throw that out there as well. But no, I think the Bills – Their offense is going to come through. We talked about it before the show. I'm with you on the over. I'm going with the 43 as well, alting it down. I think the Bills do score 20 plus, 23, 24 plus tonight, which is going to get you over that mark. And to your point, the Texans offense, maybe not better with Davis Mills. 16 catches, 228 receiving yards for Nico Collins the last 2 weeks.
What is, by the way, because you had mentioned a tiebreaker, what is Houston's record now at this point?
They are 5-5.
I mean, they're not dead. They are not dead and out of that playoff race at the bottom end of the AFC wild card. So yeah, it's a big game. I don't think they'll have enough firepower to take down Josh.
Yeah.
But it would just be a very Bills-like, Josh Allen-like game to lose because, like I mentioned when you were kind of off screen for a second, you beat the Bucs last week. That's a good win on the road. You beat Kansas City 2 weeks prior to that. That's your Super Bowl. But all mixed into that would be losses to the Dolphins and Davis Mills. Like,
yeah,
Josh Allen and the Bills, if they want to remain inside the top 7, inside the top 5 type of talk, they have to take care of business tonight and win this game in Houston.
agreed, man, agreed. And yeah, it's just funny how CJ Stroud has like a 3-week concussion. Just weird.
Yeah,
But,
very odd. Very
yeah,
odd.
it's a must win for the Buffalo Bills, to your
For
point.
sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I think they know
all
that.
right.
They'll come out and score tonight.
Yeah. With that said, though, let's get Scotty's delay up out of here. Let's get myself out of here, guys. We appreciate anyone that tuned in. Martian HP, as always, for tapping in and commenting. If you guys want to be like them and be interactive with us, throughout any of our live streams, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at DSM_media. For myself, for Scotty, for DSM, have a great rest of your night. Peace out.
Enjoy. Peace.